Good evening or night, and welcome to We Are the South Stand. Hope everyone is having a good weekend so far. We are going to talk on today's game. We're going to talk on the fallout, and alongside me tonight, I have my good friend Imran. You good? Good day?
Good, thanks. Yeah, it's been okay. Obviously, game wasn't all that, but yeah, it's been a decent day.
We have Alan all the way in Australia.
Hi, mate. How you doing? You all right?
I'm good. And we also have Pat. You're based over in Australia as well, right?
Yeah, I'm Sydney, and he's the Mexican. He's down south.
Okay.
I'm in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Right. There is 125 of you in here already. Please make sure you have hit the like button. If you haven't already, please make sure you do. Helps the channel a lot. Right then, who shall we start with? So City 1-2-1. I don't think we're going to sugarcoat it. Let me think. I'm going to come to you, Imran, first. Your take on the game. Were you happy with today's performance, firstly?
You know what? When we put out the players that obviously probably aren't performing as well, the ones that are usually on the bench, and you expect a game like this to really for it to be quite straightforward, quite easy for these players, and we'll get over the line. But it just seems like nothing is going well for these guys this season, and just watching us, man, it just seems like all energy has been zapped out of this team, out of these players. The creativity in the midfield is obviously just not up to the task, and obviously the day started, and we saw the starting lineup, and we're quite positive when we first saw that. Marmoush up front, the new signing Gonzalez, in midfield, Diaz back alongside.
I like that, seeing Diaz and
nice. And I thought, what, this is good. We'll have quite a good game today, and just take us over the line. And then obviously we just saw it just was one of them days, but we can talk on it in obviously a bit more detailed later.
Do you know what? For me, it was we'll just go now. We're getting into it now, man.
We're getting into it.
We're just
seriously all right. If we want to get into it, obviously, one of the main things I wanted to see was Gonzalez today. See what he can do. Obviously, we've heard all the stuff. We've seen all the YouTube clips. We've seen what sort of player he is. We've done all our research, and just thought, let's just see how he can fit into this team now, and start conducting this orchestra. And obviously it starts off and it's not good, because the first thing was it looks like it was a foul on him, and obviously without VAR we can't really do much, but
it was a foul. It was,
and then obviously injury, and he's had the injury after that, which means he goes. Bernardo's back in the team, and we've seen Bernardo this season, man. He's just not the player.
He's just not playing in the position that is his position.
Again, yeah. I mean, and then obviously we're expecting the legs from Gundo, and we've been hit with this goal, and obviously now they're trying to defend the goal a little bit. But do you know what? As that game, as the first half went along, I just thought these guys are gonna tire at some point. They did start looking tired from like 40th minute onwards, and that half did obviously drag it a little bit, and you can just see them getting tired. And I just thought, second half, I think we'll score 2 or 3 goals. It just seems like they will get tired, and we'll get through it. But yeah, it just doesn't fill you with any confidence when you see this team play at the moment. And
yeah,
I know we've had some key players out, but this is how it just seems at the moment.
Look, the thing is, there's reasons why we are where we are, right? And we've gone over them a million times, right? And it's from the injuries, countless injuries, it's burnout, it's tiredness, it's how do you get people in silk pajamas with whatever the silk pajamas thing is. There's the more I think about Pep and what Pep is going through at the moment, like that will impact you. Okay, he's gone through a divorce. I said it on a show the other day. I'm 3 years into a divorce, and now I'm coming out the other side. He's about 3 months. And by the way, I was with my ex-wife for seven years, right? He was with his wife for what, 30?
30 years. It's going to be upsetting.
30 years. 30 years, 3 months in. And I don't know if anyone saw the post from from Pep's daughter the other day.
Yeah,
Pep's
I did.
daughter put something up, basically saying, "We know, we know you're in a hard place and you're by yourself, but you'll." Basically, his daughter is putting up posts like that, which tells you the guy. So all of this, but what I'm trying to get to is all of that is why we are where we are. But I think you're spot on. It sapped everything out of us, and this is where I'm not going to lie. Like, hold tight, Steve, in the chat. I think today's really pissed me off with a lot of our fan base's reaction today, to be honest with you. Because, right, we have to remember, and context is a thing where obviously we're looking at where we are at the moment and we're going, oh, this is shit. We're not getting any better. People, we're in a bad fucking place. This is not changing overnight, right? Firstly, it will not change. We've bought 4 players in the transfer window. An 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 22-year-old, and I think a 26-year-old. Correct me, I'm roundabout right with that, yeah? These young players are not going to turn things round in their second game. So we have to be patient. Secondly, this was an FA Cup game, okay? There is a thing called the magic of the FA Cup. And today we saw it, yeah? Right? But it's straight away, it's negativity. And we have to be real. This is not going to be turned around overnight, right? Because our confidence has taken such a beatdown that this is not like we have to work through the gears again. So we have to look at the positives that we won. That performance first half was not acceptable, though. Let's talk on their first goal. 2 things. Firstly, if VAR was about, that would have been ruled out. It's simple and short, right? And maybe today, have we seen actually that VAR is maybe not a bad thing?
Well, just look at United's winning goal. Oh, Jesus Christ.
This weekend, we've seen that from United, and we've seen that today. I think it does show us that actually, although VAR creates some awkward conversations, it does kind of cut out some mistakes. Secondly, the one thing I want to talk on, because someone messaged me saying about Pep starting Gonzalez today. Do any of you guys have an issue with Pep starting Gonzalez today?
No.
No.
Had to start.
No one bit.
Right.
You're not starting him against Madrid first game. No chance.
Right.
No.
So, right. Perfect. So I thought some of you might have had an issue with that. I'm the same as you. You can't play Gonzalez first game against Madrid, right? That first game playing with the team, that is insane. And when someone said, yeah, but we haven't gone out and bought a 22-year-old DM to go, oh, no, we can't play him in certain games because he might get injured. What are we doing? I saw someone in the chat, Devious, saying we bought him for Madrid. No, there's no player that we bought in this January transfer window for any single game, right? This is a rebuild right now. So, right, cool. So everyone's good with that. Did anyone see Pep's interview after the game?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Right, okay.
I did this morning.
I quite liked what he said about the whole Gonzalez thing. They said, will he be okay? He said he's a big lad. He said it was good because it was a welcome to the English League. Welcome to England, right?
Like an initiation.
Yeah. And you're not going to be protected by the referees, right? If we're being real, in the build-up, like, I remember Rodri first season. At times, he got caught on the ball because he thought he had a bit too much time. And I've seen it with a lot of players that come from La Liga over to the Premier League, that sometimes they think they've got more time on the ball. Well, do you know what? That was a perfect lesson today. 1, referees aren't going to protect you. 2, it's a physical league or country. I know it was a cup game. And 3, you don't have a lot of time on the ball. So I actually think that was good from him. Third thing from the goal, Ortega.
He was off his line, wasn't he? Simple.
Has anyone
people can say it's unfortunate they're deflected in the net, but you shouldn't have been off your line that far in the first place. Yeah. But you kind of saw it coming because there was that play probably about 5 or 10 minutes earlier where one of their players put a really good long ball through the middle, and their player got onto it. And I think Vitor Hayes was actually the last player who sort of kept pushing him away from like Ortega's right hand side. So it didn't necessarily mean that Ortega was off his line, But I think they've seen something from that, and then that's why they decided to have a pop, because they've seen him just venturing off his line a bit too often.
Yeah, spot on. It's weird because I almost feel like Ortega's form at the moment is a reflection of where we are. Because Ortega usually has come in for, he's been here. This is his third season, right? It's the third season. Yeah, it's his third season. He joined when Haaland joined.
Yeah.
So Ortega has usually come in and been great, been mint. But it's like it's a reflection that even Ortega's making mistakes at the moment. It's just the confidence of the whole team, and that's where we have to look at the win today. And I quite like Pep's outlook after the game was quite positive almost. It was like, yeah, it is what it is. It's the FA Cup, and I think that's right. It is the FA Cup.
That's when you're playing lower league sides. We played in the lower league, so we know.
Yeah,
we played down the channels, right? They play long balls. It's who actually deals with the second bounce best. We know that's the way that the leagues play. They're very physical. They're in your face. That was their cup final that they were getting stuck in. They were playing long balls over the top with quick lads up front from the lad who's on loan from Spurs. All right, they were going to cause us problems, and they weren't going to back off.
Yeah.
Alan, what frustrated me was the long throw-ins, because when they play the long throw-ins, then you don't concern yourself with how many defenders you have on the first player it gets to. You need to be around the second or third players that the ball gets fed to, because that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
it's not Rory Delap football. You're not going to be able to score a flying header off a 40-yard throw-in. But what you're doing is you're playing for those double deflections. You're playing for those on balls or those onward passes. Yeah, and we just seem to put the wrong resources in the wrong places at the wrong times. There, it was just so frustrating.
What got me in the first half, and you're right, Daps, it wasn't acceptable. We were talking.
It was really bad. The first half was bad.
The first half was shocking. It was as if the players were anticipating what was coming at them. All right, and. Come on, they should have been anticipating what was going to happen. We all knew, I was one of the fans in the Shea when we got beat by Halifax in 1980 on the muddy pitch. I was there as a kid. I was there at Shrewsbury when we got beat in the FA Cup. You know what's coming.
Yeah.
So what I don't understand is the players' anticipation in the first half. They weren't ready. They were not ready. They were passing the ball slowly. Second half, they speeded the game up, and they looked better. But it's as if, and it is frustrating. It's as if the players are not trying to be too careful. It was very side to side, backwards passing, all this sort of carry on. It's as if the players don't believe in themselves.
Bob, the players. This is where. This is where we are, though. This is where we are. This is the truth. Our confidence is blown, right? And this is where. And by the way, I'm sat here thinking: 1 minute I'm being positive, next minute I'm being negative, right? Because I want to be realistic that we are where we are, right? And anyone that thinks, like even when we went on the run before the Arsenal game, and you know what, we were starting to. What I would say was work through the gears. I was being very cautious because it was like, I'm still watching the game and we're still not playing like prime Manchester City. We've just happened to have played easier teams, right? But that's where we are. We're working the gears again, right? We had worked the gears. If you think about this, under Pep Guardiola, we have been working the gears we'd worked the gears. We'd got to fifth gear. And we were so confident because we'd done a fucking 4-peat, okay? So the confidence in the players, the minute your confidence get blown, you have to start again, right? And this is where we are at the moment. However shit that first half was, once again, like against Chelsea, like against Copenhagen, again, we went Bruges, not Copenhagen. We went 1-0 down. We came back and won the game. And I know I'm looking for positives, but I guarantee you that's what Pep's going to be doing as well, because we are where we are. We're not Manchester City of 2023. We're Manchester City of 2025. And right now we're working through the gears. Secondly, we have to be real. Even in our best periods, when we played in certain competitions and put out a makeshift team where it was kind of a few, we often had games where we didn't look great because it's players that don't play with each other. Now, in here, you're throwing a couple of players that are new to the team and the team's not confident. It kind of makes sense why maybe, we're not going to look as good at the moment. But we got the win. And I'm going to keep, do you know what? Because I know we're going to go negative again now, but I'm going to keep reminding us all, we got the win. Yeah. Because
correct.
That is important. And as a fan base, because I've seen today from what I've been told by Martin, hold tight Martin, socials, everyone's cooking City, and some of City's own fans are probably moaning about how shit we are at the moment. This is not being turned round overnight. It's not. Yeah. So buckle the fuck in, and get behind the team. Because I'm very confident. Right, let me ask you all a question. In fact, Nick, let me come to you. Are you confident that by the end of this season, we're starting to look like a little bit like the Manchester City of old?
It's a tough one at the moment. But to be honest, I think we've got the players in the door now. I think it's actually going to make the world of difference. Having rotation, getting some of these younger guys in, like Khusanov and Victor Hayes yesterday, I thought were actually really, really good.
Yeah. Khusanov, when he came on, 100%.
Yeah, very impressive. Even Hayes, I thought, technically really, really strong, really sound. But I would say he did look like he got pushed around a little bit, but that's kind of to be expected. He's a young
18.
lad. To be honest, I think we've got the players there. I think we can turn this around.
Sorry, just a quick one while we talk on Khusanov. Hold tight LB with the super chat said the technique on Khusanov's goal was unreal.
That's the Uzbek finesse. Yeah.
Hold tight, not LB, lads. I noticed lads on his match day blog put up Khusanov and De Bruyne goals save City, and I thought, you know what, I can't even put Khusanov for that goal. It's a bit like Khusanov got that goal, right? But the poor Leyton Orient lad didn't get his goal. It went down as an Ortega goal kick.
To be fair, it was a good goal they scored.
Yeah, he's certainly not the first to have a very not so glamorous debut goal for Manchester City. I mean, remember Jack Grealish just came off his knee. He didn't even know where it was.
Yeah.
There's been plenty that have had some ugly goals.
Sean Goats made a career of coming off his knee, coming off his shin, coming off his bum. You name it.
Bo, we'll talk. Bo, Haaland's had one come off his left bollock, I believe. So
there you go.
John Stones had one off his right.
Oh, you've got to be in the position, haven't you? You've got to be in the position. But no, and even that was nice. Like I saw someone say that Khusanov's bang average. Again, Khusanov is a 20-year-old. Like, let's give these players time. And look, this is where us as a fan base, I think, have to do this, because I'm already seeing people try and throw dirt on Marmoush, right? And it's like first game Marmoush, everyone's like, oh my God, he's fucking unbelievable. Now it's third game, and now everyone's saying, Marmoush is shit, right?
And you know why? Because they're just saying, why isn't he throwing up the Bundesliga numbers already?
Yeah, exactly.
They want that. They want those numbers right now.
Devious Stucky.
My honest opinion about the young players, the McAtees and the O'Reillys. I want the academy lads to do well, right? And the only way they're going to do well is if they play consistent games. If they just come in every now and again, there's no consistent. There's no way they're going to have consistency. Martin,
you're just saying that now because Martin's not here.
Listen.
Look, if they were good enough, they'd be alongside Phil Foden every single game. You know how it is, mate.
Yeah, but with all due respect,
you know how it is.
I had this massive debate for about an hour with Martin this morning on text message.
I know.
Yeah, and he takes things the wrong way sometimes. But I want the Manc lads to do well. I don't want them not to do well. When they come from overseas, they come at a price tag, but the Manc lads come free. So I want them to do well. They're not going to do well unless they're playing consistent games. They're not.
Alan, I totally get what you're saying, mate. But at the end of the day, we've got to look at it as a win-win situation. If they're good enough to get in, then fantastic. You know, it really props up Manchester City on a local scale as much as international as well. But also, too, you know, we could look at this in 2 or 3 years' time and say, okay, McAtee wasn't good enough. But McAtee, where we sold McAtee is the reason why we were able to get Florian Wirtz through the door or Musiala through the door. We've said that before with young talent that couldn't quite cut it. And then we look back and we go, hang on a sec, that player contributed to £100 million worth of sales through the door that summer that got us through the players that we intend to keep here for 10 years. So we can try and force them through, encourage them as much as we can, but we know if they don't make the cut, they're still going to contribute to the club even when they haven't got a shirt on.
Yeah. And Alan, this is the thing. Look, I love McAtee. I want McAtee to do well, right?
Likewise.
But I think it's one of these things where, do you know what? As fans, we want too much, right? We want McAtee to do well, right? We want Manchester City to win stuff, right? We don't want to be sit here saying these players are shit. Alan, you were saying today these players are shit, right? McAtee was on the pitch today. McAtee was shit.
He was terrible.
Yeah, but the other day I thought Grealish and Mamouche were the only ones that were lively.
Grealish was good today.
Grealish was very good today.
That being said,
Savio was good.
Savio played well.
Savio was good. Savio was good.
Especially the first half, Savio was definitely the best on the pitch.
Yeah.
He was creating so many opportunities down that right-hand channel, down that right side.
I think this is a thing for me that I always think this is where maybe it's a bit like when we had Mahrez and Grealish in the treble-winning season. You need balance. Sometimes you can't have two wingers that are both direct, right? And that's where Grealish and Savio actually probably works a bit, because Grealish is a bit more like a midfielder playing on the wing. Savio's a winger, right? It's as simple as that. And I guess with Marmoush and the runs that Marmoush makes, it makes sense to have Grealish, because Marmoush can drift off to the left at times. And
no, sorry, Taps.
It was like
going back to McAtee for one moment as well. I do think in these kind of games, this is their moment to kind of prove themselves, to kind of show what they've got.
100%.
And I think even McAtee's last game where he got the hat trick and whatnot, I don't think he was particularly great for most of the game. He managed to get on the score sheet, but this game I just thought really didn't get himself involved, and it's really going to hurt him in the long run doing things like that.
Do you know what, mate?
It's another case of an opportunity gone to waste.
And this is a thing, and I'll be right. So, Alan, I do get what you're saying, that in anything you have to give people a run of games.
Yeah, you do.
However, here's something that I would disagree with you. Special players, you don't, right? Phil Foden is a perfect example. I remember back many moons ago when, can't remember what season it was, but it was very early days of Phil Foden, when Phil Foden was only playing a handful of games, and he hadn't been starting for City, and then we had Tottenham, right? And it was a must-win game.
Yeah, I was there.
After they knocked us out in the Champions League.
Yeah,
I was there.
Yeah,
I was there.
And then he started. He started when
he scored, and he scored. Right.
Yeah.
Another example, Dele Alli, different club, but Dele Alli got given an opportunity because Modric was injured for Tottenham. He was the best player on the pitch. It was a pre-season friendly. Then he started the next game again, best player on the pitch. When you're at a club like Manchester City, and here's a great example, was Iheanacho was doing bits off of the bench. Aguero got injured. Pep's first season, I think it was. Aguero was injured. And Pep said, Iheanacho, start, didn't score. Start another game, didn't score. Start another game. If you are an elite player, a player that is of the level that Manchester City require, you don't need a run of games. Like, you take the opportunities. And so I hear you on McAtee. We all want McAtee to do well, but he's not.
It's like, I remember the days when the old days when we beat United 5-1. We played all our kids from Manchester, Paul Lake, Steve Redmond, all these players at that time, Ian Brightwell, And I'd love to see.
Okay.
Notice how Alan forgets the Australian-born player who scored in that game.
Yeah. Oldfield,
Davey Oldfield, yep.
So Alan, you know that I've called you out a few times for how negative you are, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I'm going to say to you, Alan, we're going to give you what you want, right? It's going to be all the local boys are going to start for City now, right?
Yeah.
Watch how fucking negative you are then, Alan. Watch how and this is where it's a good conversation because this is where we are. Me and Imran were talking earlier, and I was saying about my frustrations with some elements of the fan base and how we're becoming really entitled. And I guess that the thing is that there has to be a balance between the two, right?
Yeah.
There has to be, because we are a different club to we were back then. We are, right?
Well, I agree with you on that point. But we're only debating that, so you know what I mean? And that's good.
Oh, 100%. And we all have to respect each other's opinions as well. Right. I'm trying to think. But slightly better game for Imran. Slightly better game for Rico today, would you say?
Yeah, it was. But look, we've got to look at what the type of opponents we're actually facing, and you expect the majority of our players should be having good games. Yes, it was a better game than what he's played previously, but you're not facing that level of threat as well. So really, we're just taking that face value, really. But look, Rico's really good at moving the ball around the pitch. He's good in the pockets. Get the ball flowing, and just stuff like that. He's good at doing. But put him in a defensive side of the pitch, and we've got some problems because physically he's not up to it, and obviously
they've been targeting him.
Imran, I've got to say, when I saw the lineup, I was a bit worried about how much he might get bullied in this game. But given the opponents where we were playing, I didn't feel like he got nowhere near as bullied as we probably anticipated, at the start of the game. I think his positional play was relatively good. He actually had some really decent recoveries, tracked back relatively well. I wouldn't say it was an absolutely fantastic game. It was probably above average, but he performed better than what we all probably anticipated, to be honest.
I think about Rico, Pat, is that where he needs to improve is when he gets the ball, is to look up and pass forward. He gets into a habit of passing it sideways and backwards too much. I can't believe some of the coaches at City and people like Rodri and even Fernandinho when he was younger. Yeah. Right. Every time they got the ball, they look up and they pass forward or try.
Do you know who he's missing? Do you know he's really missing for that, Alan? Oscar Bob.
Yeah.
You remember a couple of times last season, Palace away, their link-up play was fantastic. I think he's missing Oscar Bob.
Bro, 1,000,000%. I'm glad you mentioned that Palace game. That Palace game, Rico Lewis and Oscar Bob. Bro, you can tell they played together. You can tell they're on a similar wavelength. But did you all see the news on Oscar Bob as well, by the way, that he
injured in training?
Yeah, injured in training. But apparently it's not bad. It just set him back a little bit. But But yeah, because I was actually looking forward to seeing him today. But just quickly, a couple of super chats.
Do you know how we just we were sort of excited when that transfer window closed, didn't we? Daps, we thought we've got this DM in there, all our players are coming back, and it's looking positive. And then all of a sudden, we've got a couple of injuries again, and it's just
it is
a step forward and a couple of steps back again.
Yeah, but again, sorry, just a couple of super chats. Glorious MCFC, thanks for the super chat, appreciate it. It says no hate, but when Foden came on, I forgot he was playing. I'll be completely honest, I totally agree with this today, Foden, when he came on again. Right, Devious Ducky. I sense that you are very pissed off with Pep, right? Can I ask you a question? Because I am starring. So you said City will get another beating from Madrid. Pep will gift them an easy win, right? And then you said Foden won't do shit against Madrid. He goes missing in big games. Devious Ducky, could you confirm to me, are you a City fan? No. Genuinely, I'm asking the question, are you a City fan or are you here? And if you are you saying you've got frustrations with Pep? And by the way, there's no sarcasm to this. I'm not trying to be witty or funny. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. that. You're a Chelsea. He's a Chelsea fan, right? Okay,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hold on. No, he said yes. I'm a City fan. Okay, so as a City fan, I'm going to take that at face value. Are you Pep out, or are you just expressing your frustrations with Pep? He ain't a City fan. Well, let me know. Let me know. I'm reading, so I just want to know, because I'm intrigued to see if people actually genuinely are Pep out, and they think, do you know what? Because the more and more I think about it this season, frustrated with Pep. Okay, no, that's fair. And that's totally fair. I think we all have our frustrations with Pep. I've been chatting tonight with one of my mates who's an Arsenal fan, and I was talking about how, Arteta's very stubborn, a bit like Pep is, because he's learned from Pep. All right? And Pep will have told Arteta, listen, you must have your style of play and you must stick to it, right? And you must stick with your plan. And so I said, we all think Pep's a genius. You listen to the Jedi Master and you do what the Jedi Master does. So with Pep this season, I've got a lot of frustrations with him. The fact that we have been, we've continued to play the same way and we've continued to be exposed with the stubbornness. It's frustrated me. However, let me throw you back to Pep Guardiola's season 1 at Manchester City, right?
Oh, yeah,
we had the exact same frustrations with Pep Guardiola, right? We were exposed. We had old, aged fullbacks, right?
Yeah, we had 35-year-old fullbacks playing as wingbacks.
Yeah, we lacked energy. We weren't playing the ball out from the back, right? We were losing the ball. We were being pressed, right? And not just us, the whole of the world was saying, see, Pep's too stubborn. He's come to the Premier League, thinks he can do it his way, and it doesn't work, right? We all had our frustrations. Pep got the right players to play that style of play, and I believe the next season we got 100 points. Right? So it does look very similar right now. And this is where I think what the board have done with, firstly, again, can I ask anyone here, is anyone here frustrated with our board?
No, not particularly. We got through the signings. I think Alan and I actually had a phone call the other night about the signings. I do think the midfielder needed to come through first, but at the end of the day, he's here now. So
I think the thing with Nico was that the reports were that we did approach Porto early in January, and then they came back and said, come back and see us at the end of the month. So I think they wanted to keep Nico for some important games, because I believe they are challenging for their Portuguese league title at the moment. And I think they're in the top 8 spots for Europa League. So I kind of get why they wanted to hold on to him. But now I think that they're in secure positions in those competitions now. I think they they were happy to sell.
That's it. Okay.
I think it was more frustration with the board. I think they've made a mistake about signings in the last 2 years in the summer windows. I think, they tried to rectify in January. And let's be honest, spend nearly 200 million in a January transfer window is not a bad effort, to be fair.
It excelled all expectations. All of us, we never expected that.
Right. Yeah. So let's go with this. So Jeremy, you're saying you are, because you are saying Rodri moaning for time should have done summer. Rodri moaning for time agreed. And I think AM, you're saying you are. If you could explain to me why you are, and again, this is a question. Please never think that I'm trying to be sarcastic. I want to understand people, right? And again, now you said you'll defend Pep. The board messed up. I hear you on that. However, Pep has come out and said he told the board he wanted to do it next summer, right? Yep. So Pep has actually come out and took some of the blame. Now, look, the point of having a sporting director is that should be a two-way conversation. It shouldn't all just be Pep. The reason why I ask on the board is anyone that's against the board, another one here say, I can't be mad at the board if Pep said, yeah, exactly that. The reason why I'm going to defend the board a bit here is because I don't think the board, Pep, me, Alan, Nick, Imran, Devious Ducky, Jeremy, I don't think many City fans, although we saw some hints, we definitely all wanted a DM, right? We also definitely celebrated bringing Gundogan back as a core, the club, Manchester City, all of us. We celebrated bringing him back, right? All of us. This season has caught us all off guard, right? We all saw cracks, 100%. But this season has caught us all off guard, right? The first chance the board has had to address it, they have, right? We have spent in this transfer window, I think, more than all other clubs in the Premier League put together, right? Yep. So we can't be pissed off at the board, right? Because there's a lot of clubs out there that can be pissed off at their board. Right now, our board has done something. Now, I saw a stat earlier that about 50% of players that get bought are a success, 50% are a failure, right? So guess what? We've just bought 4 players. We have to accept 2 of these might not land, right? That's just football. With all the scouting in the world, sometimes things just don't work. But guess what? Our board will keep going. They've just shown the intent, by the way. If we see no improvement, well, we already know in the summer they will be going again. So we have to give the board, we have to give Pep, we have to give the players time, right?
Yeah, that's true.
There's going to be bad days. Look, we've still got to play Liverpool at home. We've still got to play Tottenham away. We've still got, we've got Real Madrid home and away, right?
Speaking on Madrid,
you can't just start picking on, just having go at Pep.
No.
This guy's got a formula that's worked for over 15 years now, right? And then all of a sudden, he's had half a season where things aren't going well, and you expect him to abandon all his ideas, and the way he's been playing, the way he's been so successful over the last 15 years. Yeah. Half a season's going to throw him off and going to make him think, oh shit, maybe this ain't it. Maybe I need to start looking at a different way of playing football.
Yeah.
Obviously, he'll have to tweak things. And you know what? Previous seasons, first half of the season, he's always tweaking, because you start the season and you realize, actually, you know what? We've gone into this season, we're getting found out in some areas. We need to tweak things a little bit here. We've got some new players. We need to tweak things, to get them gelling into this. This season, the whole injury thing, caught us off guard, and then because of that, now all of a sudden it seems like we've got this aging midfield that's not mobile, that's not got the legs, that's not got the pace. And you know what? This is the root of the issue at the moment. Is that the midfield is the issue, and we find it's both ways. So in an attacking sense, these guys aren't creating enough chances. They're not breaking the lines. They're not attacking quick enough, and then what we expect.
Oh, it's recovery as well. Second balls.
No, and I'll mention that. And I'll mention that because I'll get to that in a second. But what we automatically then think is, right, why are these guys why are they not getting the ball out quickly to these players out on the wings? Why are they not transitioning quick enough? These guys, like, if we played the transition game right now, if we started playing like that, we'll get opened up even quicker than we currently getting opened up. And you know what? This is the issue we currently have. We're in a situation where we can't play that transitional stuff, but the way we are playing right now, that's not working either. Neither of these, is working. And obviously, look, there's a whole defensive issue. When these guys are defensively good, it means that the attacking players are they're thinking about the defensive game, that this defensive game ain't working. If we push out too much, then there's an issue at the back. So they're not committing as much as well going forward. So look,
worried about losing the ball.
We are in this situation, and the midfield is the key issue. And hopefully that's why when we heard Gonzalez coming in, that's an extra. That's a player who can really.
Have you heard anything about Gonzalez? Is he?
So it's going to be assessed tomorrow in training. I've seen someone say if it's broken ribs, it'll probably be a couple of weeks. I don't necessarily think it will be broken ribs. We will have to see. I think he looked in a bit of discomfort, but I don't think, it's not going to be a long injury. And listen, I understand. Do you know what? Maybe I feel like some of our fan base, everything is riding on this Madrid game, right? And I think it's false hope. I really do think it's false hope. Look, fuck me. I'm going to Madrid away, right? So trust me, I want to beat Madrid, yeah? I'm going over there, right? And it's half term, so it's costing more than usual, right?
Yep. Do you think Madrid want to play us right now?
Well, Madrid drew today.
Got to look at the other side of the coin.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, I'm not under any false illusion that this is the City team of back then. So this is not about beating Madrid. What I want to get to is people are making this about, oh my God, like if we lose to Madrid,
it's season over. Yeah,
but it is what it is. Like it is what it is. For me, top five. If I'm being honest with you, right, it seems to me that people are putting like obsessed with beating Madrid, right? I'll be honest with you. My obsession is with getting top 4 this season. Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people are thinking that we could possibly win the Champions League and save our season by doing that. Come on, we are far away from.
Look, I said on the show with Lads and Steve the other day, if we beat Madrid, if somehow we beat Madrid over 2 legs, let's remember the second. Even if we were in good form, the second leg is at the fucking Bernabeu, right?
Yeah.
I already know what that means. Long day, yeah. Every season, ask anyone in football. Long day.
We were there. We witnessed it.
It's a long day if the second leg is at the Bernabeu. But for me, this is not, we have to look further than just Real Madrid, and we have to look further than just the Champions League. This is about getting City back for the next 10 years, right? This is where we are right now. Just quickly, again, this is on the board. You said the intent should have been last summer. 100% agreed. Look, between the board and Pep, they missed a trick. And you're right. The board should have said to Pep, 100% agree. I agree with both of these things, right? The board will get things wrong. Right, the board have got things wrong in previous years. They have. Before we did the 4-peat, when we first won the league under Mancini, the summer after that, we won the league under Mancini. We spent badly, right? Yeah. And we didn't retain the league. The summer we won the league under Pellegrini, we didn't spend well and we didn't retain the league. But they learned from that, right? Do you know what? The board made a mistake. I totally understand that. But the board are trying to rectify it, right?
Just on that, Daps, as well. We also didn't know that Pep was going to extend as well. So, again, a new manager comes in. He wants his own players.
Yeah.
The last thing he wants is a bunch of blokes that Pep's chosen just to get off.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100% agreed. 100%. Right. There was another one. So, Madrid. I have a feeling Nico's going to play against them, if I'm being honest with you.
Did anyone watch Madrid this morning?
No. It was 1-1.
Oh, yeah. Look, Alvarez, to be honest, I think...
Alvarez scored, didn't he? Alvarez scored,
yeah. A nice penalty as well. But
did Atletico kick Hell's bells out of him?
Yeah. Going forward, Madrid look incredible, but Atletico opened them up so much going the other way. So, again, it's going to be very similar to kind of a lot of our games where I think they'll have a real go at us, but I think we'll create some good chances against them as well.
Yeah.
Let's not forget too, if we do get through against Madrid, our next 2 opponents is either Atletico or Leverkusen.
Oh, right.
To be honest, I could see us beating Madrid and then going out the next game. Like I'm
telling you, do you know? Right.
Of those two, I'd probably rather pick Leverkusen.
All day
poison. I'd prefer to play Leverkusen.
Well, listen, if we beat Madrid somehow and get Atletico Madrid, right? We are then really. Well, I'm going Madrid for 6th time. That is, 6th time in 3 years. But, bro, if we have to play Atletico Madrid, we are getting at least one player injured.
Yeah,
2 legs.
I agree with you there.
You know
what? I think we'll get, for every player we get injured, they'll get one or two sent off.
You know what? Though, we've seen from this game today, and some of the games, obviously previously. Oh well, it's yesterday now. So what we noticed is that we're not really in the physical game. We're not up for it. We're not up for the physicalities. Playing Atletico is something else. But talking about Real Madrid right now, Real Madrid, we're going to be playing some beasts, in that midfield. Camavinga's back. He's back in there. These guys on another day where we were moving the ball around very well and not letting these players get anywhere near us is one thing. But now, when you let these players near us, man, it's going to really cause problems. And obviously we're susceptible to.
I said a long time ago, with a CDM, we're a different side the way we play, because we play through the CDM and we defend the CDM, right? When we don't have that person in the side, it throws everything to gosh, and we're always wide open, right?
Yeah.
It happened when Fernandinho was a CDM. It happened when the Rodri is a CDM. As soon as they don't play, there's holes everywhere, right? We're disjointed. That's why it was important that Nico was playing. We didn't really get to see much of him today, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I'm just praying to God he's fit for Tuesday night, because if he's not, there's a problem for me.
And you know what? Perhaps as well, one more thing. We're so reliant on cover that we can't afford to rest him one bit. And even during the game, we can't take him off. He just needs to be playing every single game for 90 minutes. And that's another thing, is that when we play that quick transition football, he's finished within 70 minutes.
Yeah, I'm willing to say. Look, it's not Cover's not a spring chicken.
No.
We can't rely on Kovacic. I mean, I believe Kovacic is 31. Am I right?
Yeah.
So, he's not, and he's had a few injuries as well himself. So he's not a spring chicken. I don't know. I have a feeling that Nico's going to be back. I'll be honest with you.
You're right. I hope we need him. We need him in that game.
We do, but at the same time, right? Let me ask you all a question, and let me ask. Everyone, please get the likes up. There's 327 in you. The likes, I think, around about the 200 mark. If another 30 of you could press the like button, please just check the like button is lit. That will help push the channel out a bit more. So let me ask you a question. If Nico is 80% fit, do you start him on Tuesday?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm still skeptical on this, just because I think it's his second game in. It's a big game to come into. Big call.
Is it ribs? That's the issue, because I
thought it was a corky.
It seemed like the player landed on his hip.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Someone said ribs, and it didn't look like ribs to me. But I've seen someone say if it's his ribs, so I don't know.
What about you, Pat?
I'd start him at 80. I'd start him at 80%, because if you don't start him here, then you're still going to have to throw him in against Newcastle. Still, if you throw him against Liverpool, they're all going to be challenges in their own particular way. So if not now, then sooner or later. So yeah.
The problem is, I think this is where I was going. Yeah, people are saying it's hips. So great question, Daps. Top 4 more important. Yeah, that's where I am.
Spot on.
I and that's where I'll let everyone that doesn't know, before the Bruges game. No, before we played Paris first. Who do we play? Yeah, we played Paris first. Before the Paris game, I was saying, I wouldn't be mad at us going out of the Champions League this season, right? Because I knew that's going to be straight away an extra 2 games against whoever. It's Madrid. If we get through this, it's another 2 games, probably against Atletico, right? It's 4 games. The impact of those 4 games, what that could have on our league form this season, could be mad. And I'm still very... the only reason where I saw someone say that this game is a free hit. And do you know why I think this game really might be a free hit? Because it's Real Madrid, right? If it was a lot of other teams, I'd be thinking...
They've never beaten us at the Etihad.
Yeah, well, it's also that if it was any other team, I'd be thinking, all right, we don't look very good this season. If we do get through this, then we're then still going to have to face at some point the 2 teams that I fear in the Champions League, Liverpool and Real Madrid. They're the 2 teams that over 2 legs I don't like playing, right? Anyone else, even now with how bad we are, anyone else I'd be going, yeah, I think we can do him over 2 legs. Real Madrid and Liverpool. But because we're playing Real Madrid, there is a bit of me that thinks, do you know what? If we win this, then I would not rule us out winning the Champions League. If we beat Real Madrid over 2 legs, why would I rule us out? We've just taken out Real Madrid, yeah? So maybe we could. But the league has to be more important because next season we're going to be in a lot better place to challenge for the Champions League again. A lot better. I honestly believe that. I had an Arsenal fan round here tonight. He told me that he said, I'll put 200 quid on it with anyone that City win the league next season. He said, I honestly, he said, you're going to spend big in the summer. Your board are going to. And then again, guess what? So if the players we buy in the summer don't land, this time next year, they'll spend again. This is where we have to understand the board are going to keep going. If not, we'd be hearing rumours that they're ready to sell the club, right? They ain't going nowhere, right? They're not going to allow them to get up here.
Speaking on the rebuild, just if Grealish does go in the next window, who would you guys like to see come in to replace Grealish?
Do we need anyone to replace him?
I still think you need someone for depth.
Nick? Anyone?
I really like that.
Does it have to be an English player? Because we're starting to get a bit concerned about the homegrown quota.
Yeah. Now, I really like that Juventus Yildiz bloke. But, yeah, it's going to be expensive. I don't know about you guys.
If you're looking at it, if we're looking at wingers, we've got Doku.
Yeah, but then there's talks that Doku might be off as well.
Yeah, that one still seems a bit early. Second season seems still, unless there comes out something that he's homesick or doesn't like Manchester. I still think it's a bit early. But we've got
Doku, Savio,
Savio, Bob, Marmoush, who can play wide as well. Foden still kind of plays wide. I think if
Kev goes, Foden's back in the middle. So I think that's one less.
See, I'm not having Foden as a De Bruyne.
Yeah, but I also don't like good guy, man.
Sorry.
He scored again twice today and an assist. So this guy.
I feel that the club's got big plans for Echeverry.
A lot depends on what we do with KDB, whether he stays or goes.
Correct.
He's got to go, bro. I'm not honestly, bro.
I'm with you on that, Dav.
I will drive him to wherever the hell he wants to go, right?
Yeah.
And this is not me saying, De Bruyne, get the hell out of my club, right? This is me saying...
We can't have another Walker situation.
We can't have another Walker situation. Yeah. We can't, right? We have to let Kev go. And if we end up keeping him... I'm not... It's going to be horrible. Do you know what? It's going to be horrible having people going, De Bruyne's washed, like...
Yeah,
he has to go, man.
He is. He's finished now. He's finished at that level, at a high level now. These games are his level right now. Coming back from injury and not being the player. Obviously, he's way away from what he has been. Ipswich, these are the type of games where you could see something of him. He's the type of player that we relied on so much. Real Madrid games and all the big European games, big away games, Arsenal, Chelsea, all these games were the ones that we relied on. But it just seems like this season we don't have anyone at that level right now. Someone who we relied on so much, like Kev in the box.
I think it's in the summer. It's make your mind up time with a few of them.
Yeah,
and they've got to make the mind up. It's Pep's decision, but.
I think the club need to be careful, Alan, with how they let the players go, because you can't just let them all go at once.
Yeah, you need.
You're going to have to take time. I still think John Stones is just going to see out the remainder of his contract, because I just can't see another club picking up that £250,000 a week salary. I think you'll see out till 2026 when he's done his contract. But other players, I think we'll see others that go through this summer. But I think we'll gradually see them just start to.
It's what we do.
You can't let half a squad go out the door and then another one come in and just expect.
You know what though?
To hit the ground running straight away.
We say that, but when we're not getting much from them anyway, like KDB, at the moment we're not getting anything from him at all.
No. I mean, look,
we can get rid of Gundo and KDB just like that right now. And we won't really feel it, to be honest. In terms of performances right now, we won't. And we just need some of these players. Look, regardless, I think we will need time to gel some of these new players that we end up getting.
This is the thing.
Like previous seasons where we had. Remember the first time round, we had a core, we had Aguero, we had KDB, we had Vinny at the back when Guardiola first arrived. You just need to tweak the players around him. Right now, this core is not strong enough.
So this here, KDB still creates most of chances. What do you mean, KDB? Right, I'll be honest with you. Right, with KDB, look, if we can, like I was saying this last season, the only way we can continue to get like what you're saying, KDB creating chances, is if he's playing once a week maximum, right? And even that once a week is probably 70 minutes. Yeah, the minute it's not, he isn't creating chances anymore. Like, let's be honest with you. KDB, when he gets tired, he's starting to, it almost looks desperate at times sometimes. And look, KDB is an absolute legend, right? If we keep KDB for one more season and it isn't being a bit part player, right? People are going to be absolutely slating him, man, slating him so badly because, and this is not like criticism. He's 33 or 34 years old and he's had a lot of injuries in his career, right? Gerrard, Lampard, right? 2 Premier League all-time greats. They both left, like they both became, either one went to the MLS, one became a bit part player at City and then went to the MLS at that age, right? It's not a criticism, right? It's just now that is where he is. Now, for us to keep him for another season, the other thing is we'd have to give him because we will be competing probably with Saudi, right? Saudi going to be offering him probably, I don't know what, 600 grand a week, absolute minimum.
Yeah.
Right? He's currently on, I think, 400 a week.
Yep.
We'd have to. Do we want to pay Kevin De Bruyne 400 grand a week to be a bit part player? No, we don't. No. We don't. And here's the thing, like,
is this contract ending, Dubs?
Yeah, his contract's up in the summer.
Oh, damn.
It's up in the summer. That's what I'm saying. It's not a case of oh no, we can just keep him on the same. Bro, it's the same as Aguero. Aguero, we wanted to offer a pay-as-you-play contract, right? And he wanted just an extension. We have to let Kev go, man. We have to.
Dabs, I also hate seeing the people compare like Kev and Modric being like, well, Modric is nearly 40 and still ticking along. The league's so much slower over there. Like the Premier League's just so physical, so demanding. Like, well, once your legs go a little bit, it's just
how much longer Walker continues in Serie A. Exactly. He'll be able to play way into his 40s.
Yeah. Definitely.
And still be quick enough.
Yeah.
This is the thing. With people saying, I'm sure Kev will take a pay cut. Right. De Bruyne has won everything he can with this football club, right? Everything. There is nothing more he can achieve with Manchester City, right? He is a club legend. He's won the Premier League. He's won the FA Cup. He's won the Carabao Cup. He's won the Club World Cup. He's won the Super Cup, right? He has won Player of the Season in England, right? Multiple times. There is nothing. The only thing he could do is break the assists record. But realistically now, he's not going to break that, right? If we're being realistic, yeah? Will Kevin De Bruyne take a pay cut to stay at a club that he cannot achieve anything more at when he's probably 2, maybe 3 seasons at an absolute push, playing at a different pace away from retirement? Now, are you telling me someone with maximum 3 years left in his job who can't achieve anything more at the club he is at is going to take a pay cut instead of doubling his wage to go to a country where he can work for longer? What are we doing? I'm sorry. He's not. He loves City. 100% he loves City. But this is not about loving City anymore. This is about a man, this is about livelihood. This is about his family. This is not about football
what's
anymore.
your thoughts on it, on the Kev's future?
Sorry, mate.
What? Yeah.
I get what Daps is saying. I also do feel that I'm not going to say he's in a Fernandinho situation where you could offer him a season by season contract depending on where he is, where his body is, where his mind is, and things like that. And the reason I still feel like he may have something left in the tank, and it may only be just one season, is because I look at some of those performances he did in the second half of last season. And be honest, there were people talking about after that injury at the start of last season, is he on the way out? Is his body starting to give up on him? Are his legs starting to go? But then the way he came back and the way he performed in that match against Newcastle as well, that sort of made us feel like there is still plenty left in the tank for this man. Yeah. I think the quality of Kevin De Bruyne and what he's done for so many years, it may not be, we might think he's not going to take a pay cut if he only plays every 7 days, but at the same time too, I have no problems if we still pay him close to what he's on at the moment, because he can still deliver moments for you in a season that is worth that sort of money.
I don't.
Another reason why I'm okay with him having another season as well too is I don't think like for like, but I think the closest thing we have to a creative midfielder that's going to come in to effectively replace Kevin De Bruyne is Claudio Echeverri. A season with Echeverri under tutelage of De Bruyne. Yeah, fair enough. Under the tutelage of De Bruyne and with Pep as well, I think will help him a lot. Echeverri is going to have to be cautiously bedded into the side as well too, not just because he's playing in England, but because he's already played a full season at River Plate as well too, similar to what Julian Alvarez did as well. He's not going to be able to play every 3 days. Sooner or later, the body's going to give up on him. Kevin can always be there to cover, to be the creative midfielder, while Echeverri is cautiously brought in that game time as well. So I think there is a bit of a tactical side of it in terms of the man management that Pep will do with those two. Because I think if you're cautious with both of them, then one can continue the longevity of their career, and the other one could just go in absolute leaps and bounds once Kevin goes out the door. Another thing as well too. Sorry, just quickly, Alan. Too. Another thing I wanted to add too. I think MLS is a good shout for Kevin as well too, because
he likes it over there as well, by the way.
Yeah, he likes it over there. Also too, he's going to see what the money Messi got. I'm not saying he's going to get Messi money when he goes there, but he's going to see what Messi got and think, I could probably get a little, get a percentage of that sort of thing, get some sort of massive endorsements with Adidas, or some big sponsorship, some like one of their marquee signings. I know they have salary caps there, but they're allowed to have like marquee signings. Yeah, New York would be a good place for him. I believe his wife's involved with the fashion industry. What better place outside of Europe to hone your profession than in New York? Plus, also too, they're going to have that new stadium, Etihad Park, opening up in 2027 in Queens. Could you imagine starting their new season having Kevin De Bruyne playing for New York City?
Do you know?
I'm not hyping it up because I'm wearing a New York City shirt right now, but basically, it's something. It's all it's all just speculation. But you look at it and you look at the player and you look at the lifestyle, and it looks like to me, it looks like something that would suit him.
Right? Can I just say thank you, Nick? You did a Scottie Pippen there. That was you laid that up, and then Pat came in and dunked it. This is a really fucking good debate, right? Because firstly, the comments, it's all going different ways. And even me, I was saying, no way, we've got to let him go. I hear what you're saying, Pat, 100%.
I think you've got to listen to everyone's opinion for sure.
100%. And this is the thing. This is why I am asking questions to people in the comments, that sometimes it's like, do you know what? Yeah, you're right, actually. And I did hear, actually, I think it was back end of last season, I heard something that the board, City Group, let me be clear, the board, when I say the board, I mean City Group, not Manchester City's board, that they wanted Pep and De Bruyne potentially to be part of City Group long term and with an eye to America. I also know that I think this is where I think De Bruyne is taking his time and weighing up his options. And even during the times when he's been injured, I don't know if you follow De Bruyne, and if you follow whether it be City Extra or maybe MCFC Lads or any of the Manchester City social media that kind of track what players are doing. Like at the moment, Rodri's out at the Super Bowl and whatever. When De Bruyne has been injured, he is often between. I've seen him in New York. I've seen him in and around different parts of America. I've also seen him in Saudi Arabia, right? Yeah. To me, he's weighing up his options at the moment. And I think that's where this is a really good conversation, because he probably doesn't know, because someone said his family's settled in Manchester. I think that's a good point. And I think where we are as a club at the moment, I think we need some of our leaders around the dressing room still, right?
That's another good one. Who do you think out of the leaders that we do see move on?
Question for you. I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here. Do you think Kev could play deeper in the team?
No. Pep's already come out and said he can't. Pep's already come out and said De Bruyne can't play deeper. Do you know, right, with De Bruyne, I think it's so clear to see, like, even if you go back to the Euros, he started the Euros really well, right? But by the end of the Euros, he was not looking so good because he was tired, right? And it's the same for City. When De Bruyne gets a bit of a rest, you see them burst from midfield that are prime Kevin De Bruyne when he was 26 years old. You see them. But in the games where he's maybe playing for the third time in 10 days, you don't see them, right? And that's where it's just such a difficult one. I guess if I'm being honest with you, my biggest fear is, well, one, we won 400 grand a week is a lot of money. The other thing is, I'll be honest with you, I've hated this Kyle Walker shit. I've hated it. And I just don't want.
Can I ask you, Dabs, was Kyle Walker's situation change your opinion on Kevin De Bruyne in any way?
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
it does. And that's the thing. Like, I've even hold tight, Patrick. Me and Patrick go back and forth in what a group chat I'm in all the time, because he kind of like, he said today that Kyle Walker's playing he's finally found his level. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? He was like, well, I'm like, or is it to do with his age? Like, because Kyle Walker is in a conversation for the best Premier League right back of all time, right?
Absolute monster.
And let me be clear, I just said in a conversation. What that means is he's definitely one of them, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's others that are in there as well, but he's definitely one of them, right? But he got old, and then the disrespect was so bad, right? Now, Kevin De Bruyne is exactly the same as Kyle Walker. He is in the conversation for one of the best ever midfielders in Premier League history, right? Anyone will tell you that. Not anyone that's not even a Manchester City fan will tell you that, right? But if he drops off next season, there's going to be people out here throwing so much shade on him. And the truth is, listen, as a footballer, if you get offered a contract that's too good to miss, which Kyle Walker did, we offered him a fucking contract extension. Of course he's not going to turn it down. So that's my one worry. That is my one worry. But it's hard.
At the end of the day, age catches you up and you can't do anything about it.
Prime example, Alan.
Yeah.
Has anyone been, just quickly before we wrap up, has anyone been following the Echeverri? Have you been like watching him?
Yeah, I've caught a few of the games on YouTube, and God, he's a talent. Very raw still. I think Pep will definitely take some of his creative freedom away from him, but the talent is just ridiculous.
Yeah,
really similar to like a.
Do you think with Echeverri, because he will be the creative midfielder, do you think he'll take it away from him until he realizes how damn good it is, and then he will give him the free run?
Potentially, but I don't see him as necessarily a pass-first midfielder like Kev. I think from what I've seen, he's very similar to Musiala, a bit more Foden kind of player. Like likes to dribble with the ball, likes to get a shot off.
That's what I've got.
That's why I do think if we need to go after someone, it has to be a pass-first midfielder, like
especially now that we've got more wingers through the door now with Savio and Doku, because we're going to be looking at more long balls over the top, through passes and things like that. So through balls and
has anyone else had a chance to watch him?
No, but I mean, Josh, I've seen Josh say it. This is what I've got a few mates that aren't City fans that are following the tournament, and that's what they're calling him. They're saying, isn't he impacting every single game pretty much?
Ridiculous numbers as well. I think Lee Gunner put something up saying,
well, that's who I was speaking to. Lee, I was speaking to LB. Been Cass's bit, who I live with, has been watching it because he stays up late. I haven't got to watch it, and to be honest with you, there's one of these. I'll be honest with you. I watch Manchester City. I'm a City fan, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I follow England as well, and I love Euros. I love the World Cup, but I'm a City fan. I watch City. Any other football I get is a blessing, right? If I get to watch any other football, it's a blessing. I'm a Man City fan. And even with players that we've been linked with, I try not to watch too much of what they did at other clubs as well, because it's in other leagues, it's in other competitions, and it's like, yeah, he could look great. I need to see him at Manchester City. But look, Pep must know. Pep and the team must be aware of what the hell he's doing over there.
Yeah,
they must be.
They do, and that's the thing.
They'll have their own scouts at every game.
He's one of them players that he likes to run out defenses, but obviously Pep, in his controlled way, doesn't like that, and obviously he's going to turn him into Grealish, isn't he? No, honestly, he's one of them players. He loves to, get past players. He's got the energy. He's got the eye. He's good at obviously scoring goals and assisting as well. He's the player that can break those lines, and that's exactly who we need right now. Good in the pockets. Yeah, man. Hopefully, he's young, man, and he just needs a bit of mentoring and regular football.
So there was one other thing I saw just quickly, which is quite interesting. Apparently, he's captain as well. And I think that's something. We're bringing in a captain. We're also Vitor Hayes. I've heard that he's a bit of a leader as well. These are positives for me, because that is the one thing that I do think we are missing a little bit at the moment is some leaders. Sorry, Alan, I know you want to say something. Just quickly, there's a comment in here. I think because. Telsa, firstly, thank you for the comment. I haven't seen you comment all show, so I presume you have just jumped in here. You haven't heard a single word we're saying, and you are presuming that we have nothing but positive things to say about young Philip Foden, right? Until you wake up to how little Foden does, you've no credibility to me. Microphone or no microphone. Okay. Please go back and watch some other shows on this channel where we have really critiqued Philip Foden. Okay. Not every Manchester City fan literally blindly defends every single player. However, we also put context into everything, and we also know how much Phil Foden has done for this club as well. So, and by the way, there's no bias based on him being from Manchester from my side, because if you listen to my voice, like a lot of people tell me, I'm a Cockney apparently. So listen. Alan, but by the way, actually, interesting facts on this to anyone that calls me a Cockney. Really interesting fact. To be called a Cockney, you have to have been born or live within where you can hear the bells of Bow Church, right? For anyone that doesn't know, Bow is in East London, right? I live 71 miles north of Bow, right? I do not live in London, right? Now, interesting fact, 71 miles. Let me remind you of that. 71 miles. Now, anyone that lives in Manchester live approximately 30 miles from Liverpool, right? So, if I'm a fucking Cockney, Big Steve is a Scouser, okay? Right? So, just let that one sink in a little bit. Anyway, Alan, you were going to say something.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well,
see, I couldn't understand a word you said, Alan. You sound like a Scouser.
No, well, mate, I moved from Manchester, from Whitefield. I moved from Manchester to Melbourne in 2007. So I left.
You an Aussie then?
Aussie since
one of us, Alan. One of us.
No, we don't claim him. We don't claim him. He still left at the baggage carousel.
I know, yeah, exactly.
He moved away. He moved that far because he didn't want you to call him a Scouser. That 30 miles is too close.
Again, I can't understand.
If you ever fly to Sydney, Pat works for Qantas. He can kick you out straight away as soon as you know you arrive. Don't worry.
Right. Anything else anyone want to? Anything anyone else want to say? Right. Let me just ask you: Is everyone looking forward to Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it should be end-to-end kind of game as well. So we'll see what happens.
I'll be happier if Nico's playing. If Nico's playing, gives us a chance. But if he doesn't, I don't fancy us.
Yeah, I'll be disappointed if we don't get a result, but if I'm entertained, then I can't really discredit anyone.
Most importantly, you hit the nail on the head. City need to finish top 4. That's the aim this year.
Well, technically top 5. I think we've got the coefficient, so
yeah. And one more.
I don't want to rely on that, but if things go really pear-shaped to the end of the season,
and also win the 115.
Yeah, the 115 is a thing. The 115 is a thing. Do you know what? Just quickly on a bit of a positive note, right? Firstly, Imran, I've shared a conversation between me and you earlier, right? And I think this, and someone, I shared it with Martin, and Martin said it's absolutely spot on. Right. So, Imran, you said to me, and it was a privilege to see what we've seen over the last 15 years. And my response was, this is it. It's a privilege no fan ever expects to witness. And I think that's what we have to remember as a fan base. What we have experienced over the last 15 years is one of the,
brilliant.
Let's not even look at the
It's a privilege and not a right.
It's a privilege and not a right. There is a reason why. Let's talk, not the 4-peat, let's just talk the treble. Correct me if I'm wrong, but football's been going for about 150 years-ish, right? There's not many teams that have done a treble, right? Handful of teams in 150 years, right? We have to always remember that. We are not entitled to win trophies. And the reason why I'm saying this is because in the next 3 weeks, we've got a hard fucking 3 weeks, right? And I'll be completely honest with you. I expect some losses in there, right?
Yeah.
We've got to face Real Madrid over 2 legs. We've got to face Aston Villa. We've got to face Liverpool. We've got to face Tottenham. We've got to face Nottingham Forest at the Forest Ground, right? It's going to be a hard couple of fucking weeks, right? And we've got 4 players that need to be embedded. We've still got injuries. It's going to be a hard couple of weeks. However, here's the positive, right? Once we get out of that hard couple of weeks, we've got quite a nice run in at the end of the season, right? And I think once we get through those weeks, we just have to hold it firm for those 4 weeks, because off the back of that, I think we're going to, and this is where I think it's positive, that we've got probably most of, let's say, April and May to embed these players and go into the pre-season on a positive. So, but we have to knuckle down and be ready for a hard couple of weeks.
I just think we can't let the confidence take too big of a hit. There can't be any more 4 or 5 nils in there. I think just keep it tidy. If you lose 1 or 2 nil, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I just think don't let the confidence shatter anymore.
We can't. And do you know what? One of the positives for this is that, touch wood, as long as we can keep him back and fit, we've got Ruben Diaz back. And you go and look at any of the beatings we've got, and I mean the beatings, not the losses, the beatings. Ruben has not been there for any of them, right? And Ruben will not allow us to take a beat down, right?
There's no one I'd rather have alongside one of the young kids.
Can I also take something out of Leyton Orient that I think we glossed over a little bit at the start of the show was the centre-back pairings, 45 minutes of Hayes and Diaz, and then 45 minutes of Khusanov and Stones. I like the idea that, the second half of the season, we're taking time in certain matches to find good centre-back pairings, looking forward for future seasons, because, as much as we like to think that Victor Hayes and Khusanov are going to be our centre-back pairings for the next 10 years, they still need to have time to bed in and take time to get used to the club and life in England and English football in general. So for them to have players like your Akes and your Stones and your Diaz's playing alongside them, I think they're going to learn so much so fast. Yeah. And I think eventually we'll be talking about them the same way we talked about, like, with Vincent Kompany. Was he partnered better with Laporte, or was he partnered better with Stones or Otamendi, Alan's favorite player?
Don't talk to me about
he loves Otamendi. Alan loves Otamendi. Talk to me about he wants a statue. He wants a statue of him sliding along the concourse.
I tell you what. That season, that was it the Centurion season, or was it the season? No, I think it was the season.
Otamendi and Stones in the first half of the Centurion season were unbelievable.
Yeah. But was it?
Otamendi was going for the Golden Boot like Gvardiol is this season.
Was
he had about 4 or 5 players before.
Was it the
You're
Centurion?
right, Neil.
Was it the Centurion season or the season after that Otamendi was in Premier League Team of the Season?
I don't know why.
I think it was Centurion. He was
Centurion. He was mint. Do you know what?
Yeah, because by the time formidable domestic treble came around, I think the go-to pairing was Laporte and company.
Yeah, interesting on those on the centre back pairings, Pat. Just on the centre back pairings of Stones and Khusanov, and then Victor Hayes and Diaz. Isn't it interesting that obviously you've got kind of one of the old school kind of style centre backs, like a bit more physical, a bit more of a bruiser. In who did we have first? Diaz, and then a ball player in Victor Hayes, and then the next pairing you had Stones, a bit more of a ball player.
One or the other. It's not two the same.
And this is a thing. These are the little things. Like, this is where we should be as a fan base right now, right? We should be looking at games like today, which ultimately, look, we got the win.
Yep.
But we can be these are young, new players, and we can be looking at little things like this and think, because do you know what? To a certain extent, for a rebuild, it's almost like we've actually been given an opportunity to rebuild 6 months. I know it's 6 months late, but it's 6 months. Because you can't do a rebuild in the summer, right?
No.
It takes time. Because we know we're not going to win the league this season, it's almost like, do you know what? Obviously, we need to keep an eye on that top 4 and make sure we get top 4. But we can be doing things like this. And this is what we're going to be. Like, another thing, Khusanov in the second half. Do you see how pacey that fucker is? Right?
Oh,
yeah. Quick.
And just these little things. And the fact that they are learning off of these other plays. You're spot on with that. I hadn't thought about that. But with
I think there's so many little wins that you can take from looking at games like this that I think we kind of look over. Like, yes, it was a scrappy game, but look for the little positives as well.
Yeah, 100%. We have to because look, it's things are not going to. It's not. Oh, we've got 4 new shiny toys. Throw them in, and everything's going to be fine, and we're doing a treble again, right? That's not going to happen. One more
thing I'd say as well is I think, like, even looking at the first half, everything went through Savio, and he was absolutely toying with them. I think in that second half, Pep goes, "Look, I've seen enough. Just rest up, take it easy for Madrid." So everything else went down the left-hand side. But the commentary team were like, "Oh, well, Savio's been quiet this second half. He hasn't really beaten anyone. The ball didn't go to him. That's why."
Can we also just give some credit to Leyton Orient, because they had some players who just really put in a shift as well.
Yeah.
Like what was his name? Kelman? Kelman was just everywhere running.
Yeah.
What was he playing down the... Oh, no, he was there. He was a number 9. He was everywhere. And then Keely, the keeper, there were times there he was saving shots like Paddy Kenny from 93-20.
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
QPR, he was everywhere. Yeah.
From Spurs.
I think for Orient they can put their head up high, because we've seen it before when we play lower league teams in the FA Cup. When they play us, it really springboards their league campaign as well too. So I would not be surprised if you see them like fighting for promotion. By the end of the season.
Yeah. And do you know what? Their fans were mint as well. Their fans were loud. They were back in the team. Yeah. Do you know what? It was exactly what. And do you know what? I actually like that Pep came out afterwards, and Pep, do you know what? You can tell Pep seemed to have a bit of a spring in his step today, a little bit. Seemed like he was in maybe good spirits today. Yeah, and the fact that maybe now, he's been here this long, that he knows what the FA Cup is about. And do you know what? Interestingly enough, the FA Cup is maybe something that this season we can get behind a little bit more than maybe we do in other seasons, because a trip out to Wembley in May would be lovely. And here's the thing. The last 2 FA Cup finals have been against Manchester United, right? And it is 1-1. The way that Manchester United went through last night, maybe it is written in the stars that we need to play Man United at Wembley one more time just to make it 2-1. And then we can fuck them off. On that,
couple of things. Sure, I'd love to win the FA Cup, but can we please forfeit the Community Shield next season? Because we're not going to have any damn pre-season. And another thing, Daps, just referring back to a post you put on Instagram from a couple months ago, I don't have a problem with getting Europa League, because if we make the final next year, guess we're back at Istanbul.
Well,
And it's not at the Ataturk, it's at the Besiktas Stadium. We can walk from fucking Navazade to the ground and back.
Oh, really? You are? You've done
it is walking distance. It's only like maybe a couple of miles. We could walk. You don't even have to. You don't have to worry about being stuck on a bus for 5 hours, or like those horror stories that we heard from Blues, far and wide, that were in Istanbul, a couple of years back.
Yeah. Do you know what?
There actually will be an Istanbul tournament that will be well organized.
That would be. Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. There'll be elements of our fan base that would absolutely have a meltdown, right? If we're in, but like I said in the post, Istanbul.
Yep.
Who says
no? What? Do you know what though? Yeah, I'll probably have a little bit of a meltdown if I found out we end up Europa League. But then when the draw comes out and we've got away days in Albania and away days in Moldova or something like that, I am totally for that. I can't wait. I'll be on the first flight over. That would be absolutely sensational.
So, like I said, my 5th time to Madrid in 3 years. And one of the European aways I loved this season was Bratislava.
Everybody waxed lyrical about Bratislava. They said it was fantastic.
Beautiful. And you know what? This is where I guess. Sorry, we're going to end the show in a minute, I promise. But this is where you get back to what being a fan is about, right? I said to my friend earlier, in 2008, when we got brought out, before we got brought out, I had never even thought about winning a trophy. I hadn't. I'll be honest with you. It wasn't a thought in my head. Right? Yeah. If it wasn't, do you know what I mean? Whereas now it does feel a little bit like sometimes people support City and they support City because they want City to win stuff. Now I want City to win stuff, but also we dreamed of European away trips, right? We're getting loads of them now. To be able to go and see different cities. And Imran, you know this because to be fair, I'm a typical Englishman when I go abroad. I'm in the bars. I'm drinking, right? Imran, when you're out in whether it be Madrid, whether it be you've been Saudi, you've been Athens, everywhere you go and see all the you go and see all the sites. You go and that is the other thing. So yeah, I'm all for it. Give us some new places to visit. But I tell you what, our fan base would have an absolute meltdown if we were playing in the Conference League. Actually, last question before we go, and everyone in the comments get involved in this. And in fact, everyone after the show, can you please comment this on the video, right? What I want you to do is, I want you to list in order how much you would rate the following trophies, right? The Champions League, the Premier League, the Europa League, the Europa League Conference, the Carabao Cup, and the FA Cup. In order. Which one is the most important? Which one higher?
Premier League.
Yeah, Premier League's still number 1. Champions League 2. I'm not going to go in any order, but the Conference League's definitely last because it's too new of a trophy, so it doesn't quite have the significance yet.
Me and you are on completely different pages. I'm not
really.
Yeah. So for me, right, maybe I didn't word it quite right. For me, for bragging rights, I'm with Alan and I'm with you, right? For me personally, I love the Premier League. Always will. Mm-hmm. However, what I'm thinking of is if this was a point scoring system, right, as a club, right, and the points you get for how big a club you are, right?
Is Champions League.
The Champions League is worth 15 points, right? The Premier League's worth 12, right?
Yeah.
But I think the Europa League Conference is of more value than the Carabao Cup.
Yep.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah. No, I think I'm looking at it from a prestige sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
don't get me wrong, the Conference League in 10 years or 15 years' time could have some real prestige to it. But it's only been going for 3 seasons. So
the Premier League
not yet. The competition's a work in progress.
Yeah. The Premier League's over 38 games. The Champions League's a knockout cup. Simple as that.
But you do know that of value to the club, the Champions League is the most valuable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's everyone's opinions of the league format, by the way?
What, the Champions
Nothing
League?
to do with our form, just what they think of it just in general.
Sorry, the Champions League.
Yeah, with the league format that came in this season.
I don't love it. I really enjoy having that kind of second leg to kind of get back into it and kind of have another crack at a team. But it's made for some more entertaining matches, like you have your City, PSG, things like that. But then there's also absolute slappings around I've seen a 9-0 or something was Bayern, weren't they?
No, I agree. Do you know what? With this league, it has been a lot more exciting. However, I didn't like the fact that as a seeded team, you can get the caliber of teams that we got, and we got them for away games as well. So we got Chelsea. Juve away, Sporting away, PSG away. For being a seeded team to get probably three out of 4 of your toughest games away.
Yeah.
There's no. What was the benefit being a seeded team? I don't get it.
Yeah.
And which is frustrating because we could finish 4th in the league this season. We could end up like playing. Yeah, we could end up playing like next season. Could play like again Bratislava, and you may get one team inside the. You may get one league winner in Europe next season.
Yeah. So I think
you don't really know. The other thing too is I think the tactical side of it. I think we were sort of a bit late to the party on it as well because for years and years and years when we played Champions League, we've always waited for the draw. We go cool. Now we focus all our resources and scouting and evaluating 3 teams.
Yeah,
play them twice. Try win all your home games. You're pretty much through. Now you're talking about playing 8 completely different teams, which means you're going to have to spend a lot more resources, a lot more time studying these teams.
Yeah,
and then, but at the same time, you got to play in a league format. But then we've seen this season, you've got to treat it like every game like a cup final.
Yeah,
because you don't know what every other team's doing, and I think it does bring a lot more teams into it. There's a lot more factors that come into it, but I just think the way that City sort of handled it was sort of the wrong way to go about it. I think you can't really go into league form because as soon as you start having dips in that, then you're relying on other teams to sort of drop and us to get to try and scrape through. But I think the problem is I think we need to start looking at it almost like a cup final mentality.
Yeah,
I think you're okay to get through as long as you win your home games, and then any points you pick up away, it would sort of just get you further up the table. But I think just our lack of form, just at home as much as it was away, was a big factor in why we were disappointing in this first phase.
I've said this on other shows. I actually think that the Champions League, if you were to go back and look at our season, this season, I think some of the earliest signs that we weren't the same came in the Champions League in the first couple of games in the Champions League. We weren't looking good in the Champions League from early doors this season. I really like the last day of the Champions League, the fact that all the teams played on the same day. I like that.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was good. Yeah. My biggest issue with it is the fact that it's brought an extra, I think straight away, even without the playoffs, it's an extra 2 games, isn't it? But then with the playoffs, now it's an extra 4 games. And I think at the moment, an extra 4 games on the season it's just too much. But it is what it is. Right, we're going to wrap up here. Before we do, one last super chat, which says, thank you very much from Miami's Snoopy 305 saying beat 115 and top 5 and I'll be happy. I hear the top 5. I always keep saying top 4, but it is ultimately we just need Champions League football because I think one of the biggest reasons why we need it is we are talking about do we want a Wirtz or do we want a Musiala or anyone like that? If we want to go and get some of these marquee signings that we want to get in the summer, we have to have Champions League football.
100%.
If we don't have Champions League football, we can't ever be thinking about getting Wirtz. And finally, there was one last chat that I wanted to end on, and this was the whole thing of where we are right now and how bad things are. Look at the red side of town. Absolute calamity. And that is the truth. And do you know what? If our worst season, we end up finishing the top 5, getting Champions League next season, going on a little cup run, and I can't see past Real Madrid, so I'm not going to talk about the Champions League. It's really not that bad a season, right?
Can I just get a quick answer from everyone?
Yeah.
Who plays right back against Real Madrid? Quick answer. One each. Go on.
I'd actually like Khusanov.
Right.
I think he's the only one that could probably go toe to toe with Vinny. Bit of pace, but yeah.
I just said straight off Akanji, but I mean at the same time, Khusanov would be one hell of a baptism of fire.
Yeah.
Alan?
Only because Akanji has done it before. He did it last season when Walker was injured. So,
Alan?
Well, I'd say something. It won't be fucking Nunes, that's for certain.
don't you start.
Yeah. I want to go with Akanji.
Do you know what? I really, really, really do hear the Khusanov thing, because I think if you I think first and foremost, I know Khusanov against Chelsea, we saw the mistakes. Firstly, Khusanov with Ruben Diaz in that centre back as a centre back, instantly he's covered, right? Instantly. Ruben Diaz, I've said this before, Ruben Diaz would never have allowed that mistake to happen. He would have put that ball into Rosed, right? Akanji should have took control of that situation for me. 3 minutes into a player's debut, the ball's just bounced over his head. He's having to turn and deal with it quickly. Akanji was coming onto the ball, should have said, mine, Rosed. Simple and short, right? He should not have allowed a 20-year-old in his debut to have that. I would... If I was the manager, I'd say to Khusanov, match Vinicius pace for pace, and listen, you're stronger than him.
Just flatten him, yeah.
You're stronger than him. You're stronger.
That's one of the big things. That's one of the big things. If we're playing the game and say it was like 0-0, and maybe the crowd was starting to get a little bit flat, and then you just see Khusanov come in with this absolute just brute of a tackle, muscle him off the ball, take the ball off him. That is just going to absolutely lift the crowd. That will really get him. That will really get him fired.
But I think Pep will play it safe and he'll go.
Yeah, I think it will Akanji. But I hear that as well. By the way, that's why we're gonna love Khusanov. I'm telling you now, the guy's gonna get red cards. I know he's gonna get red cards, but we're gonna love Khusanov because he is the exact type of player that us as a fan base love. And you're spot on with that. You need these players that at times you see it at Anfield so many times, right? Just go, ultimately put in a hard challenge. Even if you end up getting a yellow, that's it. Now the whole ground will be on that referee. Yep. Every single decision.
Look at Vinny Dabs. How many times did he get an early yellow? And then after he had that early yellow, he was so disciplined for the remainder of the game.
Yeah. So anyway, we will be.
Sorry, mate. Just going to say basically too. With Khusanov, I think we're going to have to start taking the show on the road and do more shows out in Tashkent.
Well, I saw City Extra put something up where during the transfer
the Uzbeks are going mad at the moment.
Yeah. Now, do you know what? He's on all four signings. All four have excited me because I'm looking forward to. I see good in all four signings. Every single signing I can look at and go, I get it. I get it, and this is what I want to see from them. So, no, I'm excited with that. Right then, guys. So, over on this channel, we are the South Stand. Please make sure you have hit the like button. At the end of this show, also in the comments, could you please just put in there who you want to see at right back? So, when the show's over, go in the actual comments, not the live chat, and put who you want to see at right back against Real Madrid. We will be back tomorrow at some point. Not too sure when. But we will be back tomorrow. Might be a show with me and Steve. But keep an eye out. Make sure you've got the notification bell on. Guys, anything you guys want to shout out?
No. Mancunian way. We should be back tomorrow night for our post-match against Leyton Orient. Looking forward to Real Madrid as well. And I'm sure there'll be some other topics Martin will bring up. But yeah, Mancunian way should be on maybe same time, maybe just a little bit less than 24 hours from now. But yeah, if anybody wants to jump on, get involved, you're more than welcome to.
Lovely. Nick, Imran?
No, just keep doing you guys. I think the channel's absolutely incredible. I think all the City content at the moment, that from Mancunian Way, City Luke, this show as well. Unbelievable stuff, guys.
Appreciate it. And listen, it's the comments and it's the panel that we have on as well. That's what we're trying to do. So we just love all the support we're getting. Really do. It's been overwhelming. But like I said, it's not just, the channel, it's the people in the comments, it's the people we have on, it's the City community. That is what this channel is about. And getting people from, look, we've got Imran in Manchester, well, Bolton, same thing. We've got and then we've got Pat, Nick and Alan
It's becoming a bit of an Aussie show over
Yeah,
here.
you've had the colonies
mad,
take over, mate. Bloody hell.
It's mad. I might have to do this and call it the Aussie show or something. The Aussie Blues.
I'm not Aussie, though. I'm not Aussie.
Well, if you can, because Martin always just loves to just dump on any Australian who played for City.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't realize that Danny Allsop was just, you know, a generational talent who came up in the wrong time. You know, Danny Tiato is still one of the best fullbacks we've ever had in the history of the club.
Yeah,
making Alan feel nostalgic. He's going to start shedding a tear in a minute.
Right. Anyway, on that note,
Thanks,
see you
guys.
soon. Hope everyone sleeps well, and we're out. Love.
Great show, guys.